Hi world, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon UK time on, blimey, Thursday I think it is, the 28th of December 2023. For those of you with astrological software or a good mathematical brain who can work with an ephemeris, have a look at the horoscope of the 3rd of September 1939 at 11 AM in London. This is the moment that the Prime Minister of Britain at the time, Neville Chamberlain, broadcast to the nation and declared that Britain was now at war with Germany. That was the start, I believe, of very Britocentric perspective, yes, but that was the start of what became known as World War II. That is the moment that Britain declared war on Germany. At that time, in 1939, Pluto was moving between 29 degrees of Cancer to 2 degrees of Leo. Now, 84 years on, Pluto is moving between 28 degrees of Capricorn and 2 degrees of Aquarius over the coming year. In 1939, Neptune was between 21 to 23 degrees of Virgo. It ended the year at 24-25 degrees of Virgo. 84 years on, Neptune is at 24 currently degrees of Pisces. So Pluto in the sky now in 2023 and over the coming year is opposite where it was at the start of World War II. Neptune in the sky now is opposite where it was at the start of World War II. On the 3rd of September 1939, Uranus was at 21 degrees of Taurus. In 2023, Uranus, with its 84-year-old orbit, is between 19 and 22 degrees of Taurus. We are now experiencing the Uranus return of the start of World War II. So Pluto is opposite itself from 84 years ago. Neptune is opposite itself from 84 years ago. Uranus is in the same place now as it was 84 years ago. It gets a bit more weirder and spookier than that. If you construct a horoscope for the 3rd of September 1939 at 11 AM in London, which was the time the broadcast started that led to a declaration of war, the moon was at 29 degrees of Aries. Saturn was at 0 degrees of Scorpio. They were setting, and the ascendant was at 29 degrees of Libra. So the moon was exactly setting. Pluto in the sky now in 2023 is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, exactly square to both the moon, Saturn and the ascendant of a 1939 chart. The parallels here are way beyond coincidence or synchronicity. I believe that where we are now is a kind of shadow image of what was happening in 1939. And a negative way of looking at what is going on now could be said that we are on the point of World War III, with what is happening in both Ukraine and the Middle East. And it's a safe enough bet to suggest that in the short term, the situations in these countries and in other conflicts in the world are not going to get any better. However, I'm an optimist, okay? I like to see the positive sides as much as the negative. I don't balk at dealing with the challenging and the negative. And in a worst case scenario, yes, we are in deep doo-doo, really deep doo-doo. And it could get a lot worse in the short-term future, of which more in a moment. But the medium-long-term influence here has tremendous potential. Pluto opposite Pluto has it's half an orbit. And I think that this has the opportunity to transform, to regenerate and to rebirth ourselves and to move beyond the idea of global warfare. We have to ask ourselves, what was really going on in 1939? Yes, there was the resistance and the kickback against the fascist invasion of various different countries, Austria, Hungary, Poland, by Germany, and Britain's willingness to stand up for the Polish. But where was the money? I remain cynical about humanity's warlike nature when it comes to fighting each other. Nationhood, borders, religion, politics, it all has at an underlying theme that of control, power, domination, money, greed. And this is represented in the conflicts we have today. Religious warfare, financial, economic warfare. And as religion begins to finally and permanently lose its hold over humanity, and we are talking long term here, decades, even centuries, but it is happening. Compare humanity's attitude towards church, belief, religion, gods of all different types now compared to, say, even 50 years ago, even 30 years ago. Radical shift, and this is only accelerating. There are certain politicians who are trying to save their own skin from various other malfeasance. I've named these people before. I'm not going to demean myself by naming them now. But as an astrologer, and especially as someone who's been studying political and global astrology for nearly 50 years, I consider it my, not so much duty or responsibility, but my passion and my interest to not so much predict, because prediction is a fool's game, but to forecast. At the end of April next year, there is a conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus at 21 degrees of Taurus, exactly in the same places where it was in September 1939. And that suggests to me that that's some type of crescendo, finale, endgame. Before that, I've been doing all the New Year forecasts, and they'll be published in a couple of days' time. And as a result, I've got a pretty good idea of what's coming up astrologically for all the different signs and all the different birthdays over the coming year. And one of the trigger points of this coming year is going to be around the 20th and 21st of January, when the Sun will conjunct Pluto at 29 degrees 55 of Capricorn. And then the Sun will change sign straight away after that conjunction. And then within 12 hours, Pluto will change sign. So over a 12 to 15 hour period, you have a Sun conjunct Pluto, Sun leaving Capricorn, moving into Aquarius, Pluto leaving Capricorn, moving into Aquarius. This is over the 20th and the 21st of January. And to me, this is one of the most intense, challenging, possibly catastrophic and traumatic, but also potentially transformative and a massive breakthrough point of the year. What else is clear to me is that once we're past the end of April and Jupiter moves into Gemini in May, 85 to 90% of the challenges of 2024 will be over. And we can all breathe. Okay, Jupiter doesn't move into Gemini until late May, early June, but by then. But when you look at what's going on now, both astrologically and globally, and compare it to 1939, there are incredible resonances and similarities. But it's opposites. It's shadow stuff. The cycles never repeat themselves precisely, but they send echoes into the future. And where we are now is very much an echo of 1939. Now, I don't have any truck with destiny. I don't work with fate. There's nothing cast in stone. I'm truly in the path of free will, self-determination. It seems to me, though, that humanity is on a kind of crunch point, a big choice point, where we can only go one of two ways, and we can either repeat the mistakes of 1939 and head into a protracted long-term conflict where the only people who benefit are the elite and the banks, leading to mass suffering. And a lot of people will wring their hands and say, oh, we've got to do better. Or we can collectively say no. No. It's easy for me to say, I'm an old age pensioner. You know, I'm not going to be alive in 20 years' time. But I've served my time. And I want this planet to be a vibrant, happy, collective, unity place for my children, my grandchildren, my friends' children. I don't want to grow up in some type of dystopian future of power blocks fighting each other for no rational reason. I don't want to live in drag the kids into 1984. As an astrologer, it's my forte to forecast. And I cannot say whether things are going to work for positive or for challenging. What I'm not very good at, actually. I'm not very good at predicting events, although a number of my clients will disagree. What I'm damn good at is timings. And the 20th to the 21st of January, followed by a couple of dates in March and April, and a couple of really dodgy T-squares coming up during that time, and then the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in the last 10 days of April. That is then going to sow the seeds for the very long-term future. So both individually and collectively, I think we owe it to our ancestry, our heritage, and those who fought before us. But we also owe it to our children, our grandchildren, and those yet to be born to make sure that we get it right this time and we make the planet in the future a place for all of us based on equality, sharing, teamwork, community, no borders, no financial banks controlling everything. Time to bring in a change. Pluto's moving into Aquarius, the sign of community, global community. And I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff on Pluto and Aquarius in the coming weeks, both for positive and for challenging. But it's time, as a planet, we learn to live in one community, which means the end of borders and the end of different systems of religion and the end of different economic systems. Big, big statements. Won't come without pain, and a lot of the people in control won't want to let go of their power, but it's going to happen. So get with it. Much more on this over the coming weeks. Catch you later, world. Bye.